Hello everyone, this is Chris9017, and what I'm going to do right now is do a review on the new generation Bachmann Spectrum Mogul. I should have done this a long time ago, but my old iPhone 4S couldn't really handle this. However, with the iPhone 7, it's good to go. So, the model I chose for the new Bachmann Spectrum Mogul is the Denver and Rio Grande No. 15 Raton locomotive. This locomotive was my favorite one to choose because the other engines, the Glenbrook, the Grizzly Flats Railroad Emma Nevada No. 2, and the Eureka and Palisade Reveille, were also very beautiful locomotives, but this one is sort of a mixture of all of them put together. It's got the wooden pilot and the smaller balloon stack from the Emma Nevada, as well as the coal load, but it has the beautiful chocolate-colored paint colors of the Reveille and the beautiful pinstriping like that of the Glenbrook. And it also features the working crosshead feed water pumps. And the cool thing about this engine is the Reveille only has a crosshead feed water pump like this on the fireman's side. The Glenbrook only has it on the engineer side. The Emma Nevada doesn't have one, but it does feature a Westinghouse air compressor on the left-hand side for air brakes and steam jam air brakes for the drive wheels. But the Raton features crosshead feed water pumps on both the fireman side and on the engineer side, which is kind of cool about this locomotive. You can see she's got gorgeous detailing. This beautiful pinstriping you see on the pilot, as well as on the headlamp, on the side of the bell. Gorgeous pinstriping on the drive wheels. Gorgeous pinstriping on the cab. And on the tender. Also, what's unique about this is it's a freight locomotive and it's in freight livery. Whereas the Raton and Glenbrook, or the Reveille and Glenbrook, which were also freight locomotives, are in passenger livery. And we know the Emma Nevada was in her unique custom paintwork from Ward Kimball. The unique thing about the crosshead pumps is these crosshead pumps actually work. You see the rod that goes back and forth in the crosshead pump, very similar to the operating inside Stevenson valve gear you see on the Spectrum Mogul. What a gorgeous locomotive this engine is. The Del Oro Pacific, the model train club, which I now belong to, features these locomotives. We, two other members, my good friend Mike Gendel, owns Ward Kimball's Emma Nevada, and another member owns the Glenbrook. However, one of us is still yet to buy the Eureka and Palisade Reveille. You've seen a review done on the Emma Nevada, and I will say the Emma Nevada is a gorgeous locomotive. Beautiful colors, beautifully stanced engine, and mechanically is exactly identical to this locomotive, but the only difference is the paintwork. Also, my other friend's Glenbrook locomotive is also very beautiful, and it even features pinstriping on the tender trucks, a much larger Radley and Hunter balloon stack, and a steel pilot. Also a gorgeous locomotive. The Glenbrook also features a wood pile. My only complaint about the coal load is this coal load is all metal. It's all metal, and the Phoenix PB11 V6 sound card I have in here gets really, really hot when it's in use. There's really no way to keep the sound card cool. Whereas on my older generation Moguls, such as the Lily Bells and Zelda, they're mostly, because they don't have the newer computer system inside the tender, the sound cards are more inside the tender, and they have better ventilation, and they don't get as hot since the inside of the tender is plastic and is better insulation. This one is more outside and would be just fine if fully exposed. But the problem is, fully exposed is bad show, and it needs to be covered, but the wood load, since it's made of all metal, is more of a conductor rather than an insulator on the coal load, and my worry is the sound card overheating and possibly blowing up. So I'm looking to either get a wood load for the engine or just find someone to help me build plastic styrene in the same form and pile authentic coal on top of it to just give the sound card better insulation so it doesn't overheat. However, you can see that this has beautiful detail and that beautiful paintwork. Also, what I love about this engine, metal die-cast tender bogies. So these tender trucks, they are not brittle at all. They will actually hold together, unlike on the older generations, which easily break. She also has an all-metal gearbox, so the gears are Foster bronze, and they're very robust. It's much lower geared, so it doesn't go as fast as the older engines, but these engines didn't really go that fast. They didn't go much above 20 miles an hour. That was their average speed. Ideally, they could go up to 40, but most freight trains or passenger trains rarely got over 25 miles an hour back in the day. Also, you can see the engine has gorgeous backhead detailing. I can't really show you very well, so I'm going to have to detach this tender. Yeah, that is a better shot. Beautiful backhead detail featuring steam gauges with piping, hydrostatic lubricator, throttle, Johnson bar linkage, fittings, operating firebox door. The in-glowing firebox does indeed glow. Also down here in the lower panel, you can see even more beautiful pinstriping. This engine just gets more and more beautiful the more you look at it. I've got nothing but good things to say about this engine. She's very gorgeous, very unique, and is possibly the most beautiful stock engine I've ever owned. I would say it even rivals an AccuCraft locomotive because its detail is just so exquisite. The detail is exquisite. The detail is exquisite. The parts are top notch. Just the whole engine is gorgeous, and it's a great performer. This engine, you've seen it haul an extremely 9-car train on Del Oro Pacific during this past weekend, and it did it without a sweat, so it's very strong, not just a shiny toy. Also, the sound unit I put in there is a PB11 V6 sound card. It's that of the Virginia and Truckee. The Rio Raton was scrapped long ago, so there's really no record of what the actual engine sounded like or what her whistle or bell sounded like. And given that it's from the Denver Rio Grande, I wanted to have this engine have a more rustic sounding bark and whistle, so the Virginia and Truckee sound fit this locomotive, and it does. It fits it to a T. My real only complaint is, besides the coal load, would be the fact that they took out the in-glowing ash pan area. So down below, the ash pan doesn't glow anymore like on the older generations. That's one edge the older generation Moguls have over the new generations, is the fact that they have the in-glowing ash pan and this one doesn't. However, that's just a minor detail. That's just a minor detail. Everything else on the 260, the Spectrum 260, the newer generations outrank on the old. This is a gorgeous engine. Highly recommend buying. Worth every penny if you've got the money. Equally as good as a C19. I do own a C19, but it's in storage up in San Mateo. Long story. But this 260 Mogul is definitely a gorgeous locomotive. Highly recommend buying. Whatever model you get, whether it be this one, the Emma Nevada, the Glenbrook, or the Eureka and Palisade Reveille, they're all gorgeous models and you won't be disappointed. Yeah, I just can't get enough of this locomotive and such gorgeous details it has. I'd love to put it on the track and run it, but it's late at night. I don't want to disturb any neighbors. The engine's on full volume since it just came back from the train show. And when on full volume, the engine sounds like a jet engine and is loud enough to wake up a neighborhood, so we don't want that. Yeah, the details are just so exquisite. This is probably by far the most beautiful engine I've owned from that is completely OEM stock original. The only thing I did have to change was adding a red bell interior, since the newer bells don't have that beautiful part on their newer Spectrum locomotives. Otherwise, this engine's pretty much the same as it was when it left the factory. Also, I added a 5-volt Pico smoke unit with the voltage regulator, since Bachmann smoke units suck. Otherwise, this engine is perfect the way it is. Wouldn't want to change a thing. Hope you've enjoyed seeing this gorgeous locomotive, and hopefully some of you model railroaders out there buy one of these. Great locomotive. Just can't say enough good things about it. They're also not very high maintenance either. In fact, I would say these are better on maintenance than the older generations. Hope you've enjoyed it, and hopefully you buy one of these. Highly recommend for both beginners to model railroading and advanced owners. Chris9017 out.